You are now entering the horror sanctum.
Welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ, and it is almost officially summer. Time for cookouts, vacations, and jackknifing off the diving board into a nice, refreshing swimming pool. Unless, of course, the pool in question is connected to some weird ghostly wishing well. Which brings me to this week's movie, 2023's Night Swim, starring John's brother, Wyatt Russell, directed by Bryce McGuire. A family moves into a new home, unaware that a dark secret from the house's past will unleash a malevolent force in the backyard pool. Yeah. So, and as always, spoilers. You've been warned. This is out on DVD. I don't know if it's streaming, but you can watch it before you listen. All right, spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Let's dive in.
Yeah, Night Swim. So I saw this pretty close to when it came out. Did I see it legally? Did I see it illegally? We'll never know. We'll never tell. And you can't prove anything, so don't try. Yeah, I've seen this twice. It's kind of one of those early year horror films. Usually it comes out pre-May. So it has that vibe of an early year horror film where they don't expect it to do much, but they kind of expect it just to be like a quick cash grab. It's got, when I first saw the trailer, it sort of, I was thinking, like Lady in the Water, kind of, maybe not so, because that's not really horror, but that kind of vibe. This one is not really that at all. This one's definitely more like, it is a Blumhouse film, so it's more of a Blumhouse vibe. Wyatt Russell's in it. He's not really been given many roles to do a lot with yet, so it's kind of, I like Wyatt Russell, but it's kind of it's kind of undetermined yet to see how far he's going to go in his career, like his dad. But in this film, I think the thing with this film, the plot is this family moves into a house, and there's a pool there. The pool starts doing things to the father, and it kind of turns into like a horror movie. And basically, Wyatt Russell's character, it's kind of like the Amityville Horror remake, like where Ryan Reynolds goes crazy slowly in the movie. That's kind of the vibe that I got from it, is like he just slowly starts to change and things start happening and the family realizes it. They want to get out. I didn't mind it. I like it okay. It's one of those movies that is very kind of forgettable. Even the times that I've watched it twice, and I found myself both times when I watched it kind of in and out, sort of paying attention. Like I pay attention, but then I kind of lose attention, and I go back to it. And it's not really bad. It's one of those movies that you could put on any day, and it kind of has a good ambient like vibe to it. There's something about it that's like easy to watch. You can just kind of put it on. It's not bad. A lot of these Blumhouse movies are like that though. You can kind of put them on, and you're like, okay, this is cool. It is it's got some weird stuff in it, like I thought it was weird that they put so much heavy metal in the movie, like Judas Priest. I was like, that's cool. It's just very random in a movie in 2024 to be putting heavy metal in films. I thought that the realtor lady was like, there was something there with the realtor lady. Like she knew something, because she was super sketchy. Like she was super smiley and acted like she knew something was going on.
I like the first sign of sketchy is they smile too much.
Yes.
Because I'm right there with you.
Absolutely. She was smiling too much. I did want to bring this up. So I have 3 older sisters and an older brother, but I didn't really grow up with them. It was kind of a yours, mine, and ours family. But anyone with older sisters, are older sisters that are close in age, are they always this mean? Because this older sister in this movie was like really fucking mean to that little brother. Like I noticed that each time I watched it, I was like, she's like really mean to this little brother for like no reason, And maybe that's just a sibling thing. Maybe I just never knew that, but I was like, damn. I was like, he's just being a little kid. He didn't do anything wrong. Like every it's not till the end, she kind of warms up to him a bit. But I just thought that's funny, Maybe that's just a thing with older sisters, little brothers. It does feel like something that would have come out in the late 2000s, like 2009, 2010. Kind of feels like out of time a bit, but overall, I did like it. Kind of just like something you watch on like a afternoon, put on. Not super memorable, but I did enjoy it. So yeah.
So, as someone whose greatest fear is drowning and can't swim, I hate this movie. I hate everything about this movie. um, yes, I guess I'll be the John or Kellen today.
Why can't it be the J? Oh, that's right, because I love everything.
You do love everything. You have low standards, but to be fair, you and I agree on more things than not. So, uh, so this movie, and I mean, John kind of talked about it. This movie is the Amityville Horror. If instead of a house, it's a pool, and then for no particular set of reasons, like 2/3 of the way through the film is like a solid hour into the film, they try and mishmash up the ring in there too. I mean, you got this Asian girl that's down the well. She's in her little nightgown, and they make the face, the creepy face that you see in several little cutscenes is her face, but she's not the demon. But then she's the good thing that ends up saving them at the end, or at least the kids. So I mean, it's just like a total misdirect. We've seen this film over and over again. They just tried to make it with a pool be the unique thing. And I think one of the best scenes is basically the trailer where they do the Marco Polo thing. I mean, this is a film that's basically could have been a short that got expanded, and then I just don't think there was enough meat on the bone that wasn't already treaded waters, if you will.
That was the big criticism of this too, is a lot of critics were saying that it's just not solid or strong enough to be a full feature. It should have been.
Well, it's not solid, it's liquid.
Well,
Shut your whore mouth.
Liquid
How dare
death.
you? How dare you, sir?
Okay, well, that's a good segue for you. Tell me why you love this movie, Kellen.
I did not. Did not. It's to quote John or Wyatt, Wyatt's brother. It's a movie. They did that. They accomplished making a movie. They turned a camera on and recorded things, and then it happened, and then they put those things on a screen, and the movie happened. This is just so boring. Ugh, it's so boring. I have a fear of swimming too. When I was in the Boy Scouts, we went to get it was Weeblos, so they gave you these clips that went on your belt, and one of them was for swimming. And so they set up for us to go for a week to this pool, and this guy named Kevin, who looked like the stereotypical surfer dude. I mean, like the bleached blonde, like sun bleached hair, tan all over, just the guy that was probably like the popular guy in high school is the guy that's teaching us how to swim. And so I think maybe it was 2 weeks. So the end of the first week, yeah, it was 2 weeks. So at the end of the first week, we got to the point where you jump off the diving board and swim to the edge. That was our practice, because to get your belt clip, you had to swim across the pool. You had to do the breaststroke, and then you had to do the backstroke across the pool. And then he would pass you, certify that you could swim, and then you could get your badge. So I jump in at the end of the first week, full of confidence, dive in. I'm swimming as best I can. I didn't panic. I thought I was doing fine. And then all of a sudden, the hand of Kevin reaches in and yanks me out of the water and tells me I almost drowned. Well, I'm like 8. And so an adult just told me I almost drowned. So obviously I was moments from death. My mom panicked. She freaked out. So then I freaked out. So the next week, flash forward to the end of that week, I've refused to get in the deep end for the rest of the next week. It gets time to pass our swimming instruction. Everyone's jumping off the diving board. Like, oh, Kellen, you got to jump off. You got to go with us. I'm like, nope, not happening. Not a chance in hell. So Kevin's like, hey, just watch them. If you feel confident after you see your friends do it, maybe you can do it. And then he tried to push me in the water. So I'm clawing and scratching and screaming like an 8-year-old boy, which sounds a lot like a 20-year-old girl. So I'm screaming. I run over, I grab the chain link fence, and I'm like latched onto it. And so he's like, I'm so sorry. That wasn't cool. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Why don't you just come sit beside me by the pool? And I'm like, okay. adult being honest with me, tries to throw me in a second time. So I did not get in a pool that was over 3 feet for like the next 20 years of my life.
So the
Thanks,
lesson of this
Kevin.
show, ladies and gentlemen, is don't join the Boy Scouts or the Webelos.
Well, you know, what you just described, that's Jason Takes Manhattan. That's what happens to the main girl when Jason Takes Manhattan. So you have a kinsmanship there.
It was horrifying. Also, the fact that if somebody was playing music too loudly, I would absolutely kick their beatbox, whatever you want to call it. I'm old. Anyway, so this movie is just a movie. Like, there's nothing special about it. They didn't do anything where I was like, wow, that's amazing. The quote unquote kills in it were boring. The most exciting part of the movie was when he jacked that home run and busted the light. But even that was over dramatized, where it's the third strike, like it was some kind of like boyhood dream to hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth. Like you're playing in the backyard and you're telling the story in your head. Like they tried to make that a thing. He should have just walked up and just jacked one over the fence with the first ball thrown to him, and then the next one just even further. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm cured. My MS is gone." I thought it was interesting. All the hate aside, I thought it was interesting that they played on the fact that it healed sickness and had to take a life to give a life, quote unquote. So I thought it was an interesting twist that the boy ends up getting a life. You know, he's been bullied and tortured, and you know, he's not being successful at being a kid, which, I mean, anybody that's awkward knows that nobody's successful at being a kid at that age. But I thought that was kind of an interesting twist where it was like, no, the dad sacrificed himself so that the son could be healed. And I'm just assuming he goes on to have sex with the prom queen in the back of a Motel 6 and wins the state championship in football. I'm assuming that's what the wishing well gave him, because you know, they took a whole dad. Did the pool kill the cat and then spit the cat back out as if the cat wasn't enough of a life to save the guy's MS? Because the cat was gone and then the cat was back later in the movie.
Was the cat back? I didn't notice that.
I'm pretty sure the cat like shows up later at some random time.
They find the collar. I don't remember them.
They found the collar floating, but I thought the cat showed up a little later in the movie. And
I thought it was just the collar. Is all I remember.
Well, maybe
the collar was early, and then, like I said, I think there was a cat later in the movie, and I was like, did the cat just show up? I may be wrong.
It was a demon cat.
I've been so bored that I invented things to make the movie more enjoyable. Another thing that I noticed, and I doubt anybody else is going to point this out, but the Asian stereotype in this was horrifying. That woman didn't give two shits that her daughter died, but oh, look at my boy, my perfect boy. He's so good. That's such a terrifying Asian stereotype. There was horror stories back in the day when they were trying to cut the population of finding female babies in the river drowned because they could only have one kid, and so it better be a boy to continue the legacy. And so then they were like, we're going all in on that. So I was like, so as it was unfolding, I was like, wow, they did not even try to hide the fact that they are stereotyping Asian, specifically Chinese people, with this whole scene in the movie. Even with her, look at him, he's such a good boy. Oh, this is terrible. But other than that, I mean, I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it. Part of it was, like TJ said, my fear of being in the pool in the first place, and now there's a evil spirit that's in the bottom that, God help me if the person who got in before me was suffering from an illness. Oh, I had scoliosis, but my back's fine. And as soon as I jump off the diving board, that's what I hear. I'm like, oh, what? I'm not reaching the surface ever again. It's hard to build up suspense in a movie like this when you absolutely 100% know what's going to happen. You know that they're getting pulled under. You know they're getting there's no special like surprise. The water turned into a Spider-Man villain and is attacking the family, and they have to fight it off with swords. No, you know that at some point in time, somebody's going in the water and they're not coming back. They did it with the little girl. They tried to do it several times throughout the film up until the dad finally sacrificed himself. And also, I'm going to get all kinds of hate, misogyny here. Why is it always the dad? People talk about the moms would sacrifice themselves. They lifted a car off their baby because of the adrenaline. Why didn't the mom just like, I'm saving my baby? The dad was the breadwinner. He was a Major League Baseball player. He was making 7 figures conservatively. Speaking of which, if you have kids that are athletic, push them towards baseball and away from football, because Shohei Ohtani got a $700 million 10-year contract for playing baseball, which you're less likely to have concussions and die young than football, where the highest paid salary is like 22 million, 24 million a year. I mean,
all right, don't add us for Kellen's comments. His handle is BAUB869 on Instagram.
I'm just saying, like, at some point, like, we gotta get away from it's always the dad sacrificing himself. Like,
Yeah,
I would
you're right, though.
sacrifice
You're right.
myself for my 2 daughters, but like in the movies, it's always, every single time, it's the dad that ends up being the hero, and let the woman be the hero. That's misogyny in itself, is having the dad always be the one up. Back off, honey. This is the man's work. I'm gonna go drown real quick for our family. You're
Equal
welcome.
opportunity death.
Equal sexist.
Yeah, exactly.
there
We
you
might
go.
have to
The
change
mom
your
should have like
nickname,
slapped him
Kellen.
and be like, "You dumb son of a bitch! You're a Major League Baseball player. Our kids could go to Harvard and you could pay for the whole thing and never sweat it. I haven't had a job in 15 years." And she dives in head first.
Kellen,
Slit-
the Asian
slitting her wrist
hating,
while she goes in.
smiling face.
Well, she had the insurance, so she had to keep her job.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
True.
Point taken. So whenever we do movies that I own, whenever I say, and this week's movie is blah, 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 I always have the movie beside me. I never hold it up. But yeah, I own this movie. I think the most accurate thing that's been said so far is it's a movie, because it's kind of forgettable. Kellen picked up on the, my notes was the law of equivalent exchange, which I learned from Full Metal Alchemist. For every action, there's equal or opposite reaction. So by killing something, it gives life, blah, blah, blah. But when this movie came out, everybody's like, it's a fucking pool? It's a haunted pool? Like, no. Psych. It's a fucking wishing well, bro. It's a wishing well. You cannot take a movie seriously that's a haunted wishing well. And they even make it more obvious when they throw the coins in the water. It blew my mind that it was just so in your face that, hey, this is a wishing well. You thought it was a pool. It's not. It's a fucking well. That part drove me nuts. I also don't understand the mechanics or the lore of the well, and I would like for them to expand on that. Maybe a comic series. Will burying it fix it and stop it? Because that's the end of the movie, is they're dumping dirt on the pool. What if that area is in a floodplain? What happens if that area floods? What happens? Like, does everybody die? Does that water seep into all that? Like, I don't understand how all the mechanics of it work, which makes it even more ridiculous. It did feel a lot like The Ring. I think that's what they were going for, and that's why they, did the red herring with the swimming pool. I have Amityville vibes in my notes. You guys have already touched on that. It felt a lot like that too. Let's say The Ring meets Amityville horror. Like, and Blumhouse and horror in general loves that distressed family vibe in movies. And it's always the dad that kind of goes crazy. Like, there's so many of them. I know Sinister, considered one. So I think that's a little bit of a genre that's kind of played out too. And they really tried. Like, well, we're going to do a pool. It's something different, hasn't been done before. Like, yeah, but is that what we want? Is that what we need as a society? It did have some solid jump scares. The Marco Polo scene was the best scene in the movie, I think. I also liked the part where they were chicken fighting and he wouldn't let go and started walking to the deep end. I don't know what I liked about that part, but I'm like,
how did that dad not press charges when that guy was actively trying to murder his son?
Or sue him, because like Kellen has touched on, he's the breadwinner and worth, millions possibly. I don't know how long he had been out of baseball. They didn't make it seem like it was that long.
I think a year is what they said.
Well, they casually bought a house with a pool that didn't check any of their boxes. I forgot to mention that. That was the dumbest thing for them to buy that house. Was the house that they wanted that checked all the boxes. They were like, we'll think about it. And then he drives by like, oh, a pool sold.
Was he like a Kenny Powers, just blew his money and he just like, whatever.
That's the thing too, like that, just little things like that. And again, it was a short movie. It was like $1:30. So they don't have a lot of time to expand on all that other stuff, but I would have liked more lore and more explanation on that. I don't understand how the water got into the Asian lady's house.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in it was a fountain.
Mm-hmm.
But a question I had about the insurance thing was,
Maybe she took some of the water with her.
Do Major League Baseball players don't have like a health plan? Are they like 1099 workers?
No, I'm sure it's probably like the NFL, where if you're in the league for a certain amount of time, then you get benefits through the Players Association. Because I know I just know this because I had a patient that I admitted that was a former NFL player, and he didn't qualify for the NFL insurance because he didn't play in the league for I think 3 years. So I'm sure Major League Baseball has something similar where if you're in the league for a certain amount of time, then you get lumped into their long-term benefits.
So why would they have had so much medical debt if he would only been out for a year?
He may not. I mean, maybe he like John said, maybe he powers his money away, or maybe he didn't get health insurance yet because he didn't apply for it. Like I said, I don't know
Maybe
what
he
the
didn't
length of
believe in
time
it.
is.
Maybe he realized that healthcare was a scam. You know, many
It is.
options. But yeah, but with the last baseball flashbacks, he was in a Brewers jersey, so he was still in Major League. I'm like, maybe he like got knocked down to the minors or something. But this is not a baseball show. So, again, the biggest takeaways, there were some good jump scares. I can appreciate them going outside the rectangle. Yeah, it pulls a rectangle, and trying to do something different. I just don't think it hit. It's just mundane. I did have like a note, like I had a above ground pool as a kid. And I like to go night swimming. Being in a pool at night is super creepy, but not because what's inside, because what's all around you watching. Like you're just one big flashlight in the woods, like Kelly mentioned in the other episode. So, all right, let's go around and give our ratings, and we'll close up shop. I gave it 2.5 Speedos out of 5. I think the first time I watched it, I gave it a 3, so I knocked it down a little bit upon further review. So, yeah, 2.5 for me. John?
The ending line that he says is really stupid. When he's like in the water, he goes, "Don't look back." Wouldn't the last thing you say be "I love you" and not "Don't look back"? I mean, I get why he said it, but it's like, really? Yeah, it's
Maybe the pool wasn't the only thing getting wet. I'm so
Wow.
sorry.
Go rewind
We
and go back to
apologize.
his handle that I gave.
We apologize, ladies and children.
Like that pool too much.
I
He's
don't
real
know,
into
like,
demons.
I would say I like movies like this, just the vibes of them, because they're just kind of fun to put on. But it's not a great movie. I would echo Jay. 2.5 out of 5 is what I'd give it.
TJ?
I hate this movie, but it is a movie and I've seen worse. So I'll give it a 1 out of 5.
Wow.
I hate this movie. This is my least favorite of all the things we've watched.
Terrifier
Other
2?
than maybe, I really didn't. I don't remember why I gave
Say you
Black
liked
Rainbow.
it better.
I did like Terrifier 2 better than this movie.
Wow.
Screenshot.
One. Holy shit, man. One.
All right, Kellen.
Okay, real quick, playing just one day in the MLB gives players lifetime healthcare coverage, while 43 days secures them an annual $34,000 pension. And then the pension increases with the amount of time spent on an active roster. After 10 years, players will get the maximum $230,000 a year, and not just them, their families will be on their healthcare plan too. So this movie is hot garbage because they didn't do any research. They just threw Russell out there in the deep end and didn't even give him a life vest. Anyway, 2 for me.
I just, those numbers just made me black out. Oh, so that's going to average out to about a 2. I kind of figured that. And John, you put it the best way. It's just there. It's a movie. Yeah. Like I said, I liked it well enough to own it, because one day I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go back and watch that. And then after that, I'm gonna be like, why did I watch that? Like John, I was texting about, is it They or Them, the Wes Craven movie?
They, yeah.
Like I saw that.
I saw that in the theater.
And I think I liked it. I saw it again later in life. I did not like it. So yesterday, I'm like, I want to watch this again. And I'm like, this movie sucks. And that lead actress is awful. So that's not a movie I will own and go back to. But Night Swim is. So Night Swim, better than Wes Craven's They. So
it should have been called Drowning Fools.
It should have been called The Ring. All right, that's gonna be
should have been called Off.
episode. Anyone, one more? Anybody got another one? John, you want to add that? No,
I didn't mind this. My God, I didn't mind this.
Only because you starred in it.
Yes, my brother was in the movie.
Right.
It looks so much like you on Kellen. Say something so we can see your screen again.
Hey,
that picture
They
looks
can't
so
see them
much
both
like
at the
John
same time.
without.
Yeah.
Like a slim down version.
Screenshot a picture of John. Google a picture of Wyatt Russell, and then look at them side by side. A fully bearded John. I think more beard is more Russell-esque
Yeah.
A chunkier Wyatt Russell, sure. I'll go with that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No one said that. I didn't say that. I'm chunky. All right. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and join our Facebook group. And come back next week and see what we're going to talk about then. Signing off, I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ. And until I know you're hungry, so I'm like, next time.
Keep it spooky and stay out of pools.
No way. It's getting hot, bro.
Keep it splooshy.
Oh my God.
Zinga.
Okay.
All right.
Time to
Let's
eat.
all go eat our respective dinners.
Alan, you offended everything imaginable.
I wasn't.
You have anything to
offending
say
Asian
about,
people. I was
African-Americans
talking
coming?
about the movie being terrible for playing so deep into an Asian stereotype
Oh, I
of killing
know.
a
I'm just
girl and
kidding.
keeping the boy alive.
I'm
I
just
Everything
mean, you
else
make
I was-
solid points. I don't know if I'd say them out loud for all posterity to hear on
Well,
recording, but
it's 1,000 degrees where I'm recording right now, and so I'm a little delirious, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm saying, but I stand by everything that I said.
that's a solid defense for saying anything racist.
Wow.
always.
Man.
All right. Adios, amigos.
Peace
Later.
out, guys. Later.
I'm going to go swim.
I'm gonna
Could that
feed
ba-
this
could that
cat
get in your
and he-
bath water? Could the pool water get in your bath water? You know, toilet water?
It
could
did.
splash up
It
on your
come- It
balls?
come out in the tub, didn't it? The black
Yeah, so
water.
it just doesn't make any sense. They should have made it 15 minutes longer.
Ghostbusters 2 did it better.
Yeah, the ooze.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
With
yeah,
the
yeah.
bath
Big
water.
moves. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
All right,
that
bye-bye.
tub scene
I'm
in
gonna go black.
Ghostbusters
Ready?
2 is good.
Oh,
Back to
Whoa.
black.
Now I'm an extra and immaculate.
Right. That movie was dark. I couldn't see shit in the movie.
That is
I had to
true.
turn
There
my-
were
I had to
some
turn my
scenes I
brightness up
couldn't
on-
see anything.
Yeah, I
Like,
had to
turn
turn
the
my
lights
brightness up to
on.
see it.
Man.
I
Like
give
when she's just
Lindsay-
wandering
I give,
around.
I give Lindsay
couldn't
shit
tell
for
what's
something I
going
call the no goodbye. It's whenever we're ever at a function with her family and she's all right, we're heading out. And then 30 to 45 minutes later, we actually leave. That's what we're doing
Yep.
right now because this
on.
is the third
Yep.
time I've said bye. I'm going to go eat dinner.
All right.
It's like the Lord of the Rings ending. It just never ends. The Return
Oh my
of the
God. I
King.
saw that in theaters and my ass was so
I
mad at me.
did too.
Yeah.
Hey guys, have y'all ever seen?
That was funny. That was pretty
I
funny.
hope he did that on purpose. All right, later.
Later.